They thought he was bluffing. He wasn't. President Trump has now just announced phase 2 of the mass deportations project. And I'd like to know in the comments below how you feel if you're in the USA. How do you feel about the, I was about to use the word success, but I want to leave you to sort of put your own opinion below. But how do you feel about phase 1 now coming to it's not quite a closure, but coming to near completion? So what they've said is that they have been able to remove so many of the people they were really focused on. These were some of the drug traffickers, the serious criminals that have got all sorts of convictions. They've been able to, they knew where a lot of them were, they sent in ICE, they've removed a lot of them now. So I'd like to know your thoughts on this. From me reading all the data and the statistics, it looks very positive indeed in terms of crime numbers are down massively. All sorts of things are, in terms of negative things, are down massively, and it seems as though from some of the videos I've been watching that it's easier now to get a job than it was before, because 1.5 million illegal migrants have self-deported themselves from the country. And I was just reading all these articles today on it, and some of the stuff is just crazy the way they spin it. Politico put out a massive hit piece, I'll talk about that in a little while, against the US and the US people. So if you've got a subscription to Politico, you might want to cancel it after you hear what they said. Now, even with phase 2, which I was reading in detail this morning, it still seems very positive. The media spinning it that now they're going after law-abiding citizens, everybody they want to get out. Trump wants to just throw everyone out the country who isn't white, and all this absolute nonsense. They come up with the most crazy spins possible. So actually what they're saying in phase 2 is that they're going to be reviewing all 55 million people who are on visas. And even within that, they say that they're just looking for people who have overstayed their visa, who have criminal convictions and things like that. They're not actually looking to get rid of law-abiding people, you know, people who are foreign people in the country who are working there legally. They want people like you, if that's you watching. But what they don't want is people with criminal records, or more specifically, people who have gone to the US and committed crimes in the US. And if you look at the data here, it does add up. What they're saying is that if you actually look at the number of people in the country who don't have the legal right to be there and who are working, it's actually, and they say it's stealing $150 billion a year from Americans who would have those jobs otherwise. They also say that it's costing a fortune in other costs like healthcare costs, schools and medical and all these other things, because the government has to, or the local governments have to spend a lot of money dealing with a lot of issues. And as always, I don't just read the kind of media that I like reading, the conservative media, of course, but oh no, I'm getting people unsubscribing now. Oh, I'm a lefty. I only read the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal. Can't believe this guy watches right-wing conservative stuff. So make sure to subscribe if you are not already. You've got to balance these out now. So I was reading the New York Times today because I wanted to get a really good left-wing sort of viewpoint on all of this, and I was just absolutely amazed at what I was reading. And it's always the same. I find it so fascinating that they always write these stories and they never provide any evidence, any statistics, any data, anything logical or rational. And they were talking about this whole deportation thing. And they said that, you know, people feel upset about this. There are people that feel upset about the deportations. Well, okay. I mean, people feel upset every day about all sorts of things. Some days I feel upset when I see an article like this from the New York Times. But so what? So what if people can't go to their local farmer's market and get as much variety now in Los Angeles? I mean, small price to pay for lower crime is what I would say. Not that those people are well, I was about to say they're not criminals, but if you enter any country illegally, you are therefore by default a criminal as soon as you enter the country. But anyway, how they justify this, they say there's so many irregular migrants, in other words, illegal migrants, that are leaving the country that it's going to create a vacuum. And there's just not going to be any workers to do anything. And the country's going to grind to a halt. Again, where's the data that supports that? Where is their evidence? That it's just, you know, they just say this stuff without actually proving anything. Then I've got to read this one out to you. You're going to love this. Ms. Leet, 46, chose to use the government's new self-deportation program to return to Brazil. She's a housekeeper in North Carolina. Ms. Leet said that she had begun to panic when she saw immigrants being hunted down like hardened criminals. She said, I got really scared. I was terrified of what they might do to me. And it says then, unfortunately, here we go. Unfortunately, she had fallen out of legal status after accidentally overstaying a 6-month tourist visa back in 2018. Oh, oh yeah, I accidentally just overstayed my tourist visa slightly. Oh, how much by? Oh, 7 years. Sorry? Yeah, just 7 years, just accidentally overstayed by 7 years. But wait, I've got to continue this. I thought I haven't done anything wrong, she said, and suddenly I could be imprisoned. I mean, surely, I got to say, I really struggle to believe that people read this and say, that poor woman, that poor lady, she didn't even realize that it was a crime to overstay her visa and live here and work in the country for 7 years. She didn't even realize. I mean, surely, drop in the comments, surely people don't believe this stuff. And look, I'm sure if I met this lady in real life, she would be a lovely lady. She's in the service industry, she's a housekeeper, she was doing a job that needs to be done. I'm sure that if I didn't know her legal status, I would think, what a lovely lady here. But it doesn't take away from the fact that there are legal ways to go to different countries. I think most of you know I live on the Isle of Man, which is where I'm recording this video here. And I had to follow a process to legally move here. You can't just get up and move to another country. This is a separate country. You can't just move to another country and then say, oops, I didn't even realize. I thought I could just go anywhere in the world. Quick question for you then. As much as we love the US dollar, I love the US dollar, I keep US dollars as well as British pounds and a few other currencies. Do you honestly believe that in 5, 10, 20 years time, the savings that you've got in your bank account are going to be worth exactly the same as they are now in terms of purchasing power? Do you believe that? And the answer is no, because that is what inflation is. It's designed to eat away at your savings. Combined with currency creation, or money printing if you prefer that, every time they create a new dollar, it weakens the dollars already in existence because all the currency is increasing, but the supply of goods and services isn't matching it. And we saw this in recent years with prices just going sky high, really sky high. And it was because of all that printing. And what many people don't know is that their savings in the bank actually lost value in terms of purchasing power. Lost value. Because that's what inflation does. It's designed to. Now, I've just got to let you know, we have got a motorbike race on the island today. There's no way to escape the noise. So you're going to hear these motorbikes like this one right here going past. Okay. But the good news is, I would say, that you don't have to be a victim with all of this. There are ways that you can protect your money in the bank. Because for thousands of years, gold and silver and other tangible assets have protected people's money in the bank. And I mean, it doesn't matter if it was against inflation, if it was against currency creation, incompetence, corruption, it's always been a good protection. And I think many of you know I've been investing in precious metals for over 20 years, more like 25 years. And I've taught, especially when I first started the channel, millions of people about precious metals and stocks and investing and everything else. In fact, I think I've got over 120 million views now just on the YouTube channel. It doesn't include all the other channels that I've got. So I've poured all of that knowledge into a single gold and silver investing course just for you. And it teaches you step by step. It's so simple. It takes you right from beginner level all the way up to advanced level. It teaches you what to buy, where to buy it, how to store it, how to protect your money, how to avoid all the scams. There's loads of scams out there. How to actually do really well from investing in gold and silver. And you don't even need thousands to actually do this. You only really need hundreds to get started. The key is just getting started. So imagine this then, the next financial crisis hits and everyone's running around and panicking, and things like you've seen in the past, like Northern Rock Bank, close the doors, you can't get your money out, and all these other banks had these problems. Everyone's panicking and you're not, because you know you've got gold and silver, which in crises tends to go up. So if you're interested in this, just check the link below in the description or the pinned comment, and I will be more than happy to help you on this journey. And there's also a 90% off coupon below for the course. Did you see what happened with Cracker Barrel yesterday? Ouch. Again, you go woke and you go broke. Why do these artists, as they like to call themselves, branding people, why do they, by the way, I do like branding people, I'm just joking here, but why do some of them have this weird complex where they feel like they have to change iconic brands into something new? I don't get it. Cracker Barrel was a great logo. I've eaten there so many times. I love Cracker Barrel. It's a good, honest Christian company, restaurant, great home cooked food, nice people, nice little gift shop. I bought a little gift from there last time I was there. Why do you need to have this new DEI policy? Why do you have to change the logo to remove this man, this countryman that's leaning on the barrel? Why do you have to remove that because some people, you know, feel that it doesn't represent their culture? Like, to be honest, not being funny here, but I don't really see much of that culture in there anyway, right? They're trying to attract all this new culture. Why? The queues are always out the door. You've usually got to wait whenever you go to a Cracker Barrel if you want to eat, or at least the ones I've been to in the past anyway. Why do you need to bring in new customers and be more equitable and diverse and all this other stuff? Look, people have got their own restaurants. You got certain people that like Cracker Barrel, like me, my wife and her family. And then you've got other people who like other restaurants, right? I won't start naming stuff. People start getting upset here. But look, you get what I'm saying. Why do you need to do this? You don't. And Trump had plenty to say about this. He ripped into the CEO. Let me get her name. Okay, the CEO, Julie Felss-Massino. Trump said she scrapped a beloved American aesthetic and replaced it with sterile, soulless branding. And he also criticized what I've just said as well, the whole DEI approach. And did you see the stock? It dropped from around $58 all the way down to about $50 yesterday. I'm pretty sure, I haven't checked the charts, but it's probably recovered to 55 or something by now, but I very much doubt it's all the way back up to 58 today. See, that's what happens. They should have learned from the Jaguar campaign. Remember with Jaguar, with that weird brand guy who came in with all of his DEI stuff and all of his weird woke stuff, and he unleashed this new revealed this new Jaguar, and everyone's going, what is that monstrosity? And then you saw the advert with the people on it. That's who it was for, apparently. Does that make any sense at all? No. You've got all these people, men like me, for example, who have got the money to buy the cars, and actually I was going to buy a new Jaguar, funny enough, and I went for a Mercedes instead. But I was going to buy a Jaguar. So there you go, they lost definitely one customer, but I think they lost a lot more than just me. The sales are not looking good for this new car. Wow, we've still got loads more stories today. This is a very heavy US based video because I feel like I've been neglecting my US audience a little bit recently, and it's just because there's been so much going on in the UK. It's chaos in the UK. I'll be going over, I think it's probably in a few weeks time, and I'll be over in the UK for about 2 or 3 weeks doing a big city tour. This is going to be crazy, going around the different UK cities since last year to do an update, and then I'm going to do the European capitals again. So stay tuned because these are always big hitting videos. Now let's go on to the Politico hit piece on the US, on President Trump, and on the US people. It's really a disgraceful piece that they put out today. So they led with this headline and sub-headline then. US popularity collapses worldwide in wake of Trump's return. The world is more divided than ever, but there's still something nearly everyone agrees on. The US is unloved. And then they go into this massive hit piece. You know, you can see, oh, here we go. They state that data proves that people don't like the US or US citizens anymore. They've got this graph. Let me throw this graph on screen here. And it shows here China, 14%. Everyone loves China apparently. The US is negative 5%. People just don't like the US or US citizens. And Russia is down negative 9%. So they honestly expect me to believe that the world dislikes the US almost as much as Russia. I just don't believe it. I really don't believe it until I saw where they had got this data from, and then I just laughed because it's all the countries that are having issues with the US. All the African countries, some of the Latin American countries as well. These are the ones that they surveyed. Politico is so corrupt in what they do. So I'm glad I don't have a subscription to them. But the next story I thought was really fascinating was actually not a conservative piece. It was actually on the Democrats here, so it's more left-leaning. This really surprised me. So they were talking about this crisis that they've currently got because they've lost a lot of voters, and they blame it on Trump and all propaganda and misinformation, all the other stuff. But they've seen a 10% drop in their voter registration, and it's mainly among young and minority voters. And they say even more concerning, Republicans have added 1.2 million voters to their party in the same period. So they are in meltdown at the moment. And it says as well, there was a statistic, 40% of youth distrust politicians. So this is no surprise to me at all that the youth actually distrust politicians now, because it's not just the US, it's all over the world. People don't trust politicians. And as I'm standing here, I'm just noticing, look at this. Look at this, blackberry season is here. Now drop in the comments if you know why I never eat the blackberries low down. I'm sure some of you know. I'll happily eat some of these. Hold on, I'm going to take a break for a second and just eat these blackberries. Okay, maybe that was longer than a second there. I got a bit carried away. Another big story today. A US Navy sailor has been convicted of spying for China. It has been proven that he took a bribe or a payment of $12,000. I mean, you got to be pretty dumb to take a $12,000 payment to provide secret information to China. Seriously, $12,000. That is nothing in today's day and age. So really, he risked 20 years in prison, which is what he'll probably get now, for the sake of a few months, 3 months' wages, 2 months' wages? That is absolutely insane, but it just shows that there is one born every day. And with that said, don't let it be you. Seriously, make sure that you actually know what to do with your money. I've got loads of different courses, but this is the one that I'm putting on sale today. It's the gold and silver course. Definitely check it out and make sure to subscribe to the channel as well. And maybe share this video. Why not? Share it with someone that you think is like-minded. All right. Thanks for watching today. Take care, God bless, and I'll see you on the next one.